trending with Dilder April 4th, 2014. Wesley Snipes was trending today at number one for most of the day. I really wasn't sure why. I didn't even look up why he was trending, but couldn't pass up opportunity to give my thoughts about this guy. He's one of my favorite actors. I actually like him, especially if you're for an African American. This is one of your big crossover stars coming from the late 80s. I mean, if you would have saw this guy in the late 80s or the mid 80s, you would see him in your conventional roles of what an African American would have, especially in one of my favorite roles of his. It was Jungle Fever, and going all the way back to Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Those are Spike Lee films. But when he started doing his crossover with Passenger 57, where he went into action, and not only action, like, doing, shooting weapons and doing, more of a Bruce Willis Die Hard type of role, where he actually went into martial arts, where you start adding flair of, Bruce Lee and things like that with an African American. You hadn't seen anything like that before. Not with his level of coming from being, you could almost classify him as a stage actor. That he came from that kind of pure acting style where you would never have thought that playing a role like Nino Brown in New Jack City. He's a drug dealer. This guy, to play a role like that and to go into Blade, which in my opinion is one of the best action films I've ever seen, as far as adding the action in with a vampire element, and also being a comic book, character, a first major African American comic book character, and then also you contrast that with White Man Can't Jump with Woody Harrelson and Money Train, which was another one of his where he started showing off that he could actually do martial arts and show off that he had more talent more than just his acting skills. He was actually a physical actor as well, and still even going off from that, from backing off from the action and going into something like Sugar Hill, which a lot of people thought was more of a maybe almost like a New Jack City 2 type of a feel to him, where he went back to crime and things like that. It just shows his range. He's very underrated to me. Now, has he made some bombs? Yes, he has. We all know why, though, don't we? I mean, the motherfucker had a goddamn tax problem. Give him a break. He is doing what anybody would do. If you can make $1 million for making a film, even if the film was shit, you would do it. You'd do it in a second. I don't blame him. Just because you've made big blockbuster films doesn't mean you're going to get into some trouble. I mean, there have been, in any profession, you can work a high-end job. Shit may happen. You may get laid off. You may have to work at a restaurant for a while, and you go back to doing what you were doing. It happens in everyday regular life. Don't look at these people as gods. They're people. So I don't blame him for any of that. I love his Blade. To me, was amazing. The whole trilogy was amazing to me. Yeah, the third one of the trilogy was bad, but it wasn't his fault that it was bad. He did what he had to do in the trilogy, and don't get me wrong, the guy obviously does some roles where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But again, if you got money problems, you're gonna take them. But most of his work is unbelievable. Most of his work, you can't, take your eyes off the guy when he's on screen, and when he's really locked in and it's a role that fits him, he is really good. And it doesn't matter who you pair him up with, the guy's good. Wesley Snipes trending. And I was very happy to see him at the top trending. I don't know. I don't want to know why he was trending that day. I didn't even look up why he was trending. I just wanted to talk about the guy. He's an unbelievable actor, underrated. One of my favorite actors. Definitely one of my favorite African American actors. And I can't see cinema being the same without having Wesley Snipes been a part of it. Wesley Snipes trending.